Hello, and welcome to the Holt Commencement Ceremony. Can I ask everyone to please silence your cell phones or turn them off at this moment? And please welcome the Holt class of 2013, followed by the Holt faculty.
Welcome. Faculty and graduating students, please be seated. It's showtime. As the Executive Director of the San Francisco campus, I welcome you to today's celebration. Today, we gather to acknowledge the real and important achievements of the 622 graduating business students gathered before us. Not only has this been a long journey for some of our students, but many of you have traveled long distances to be with us. To our guests who've traveled to San Francisco from Asia and from Africa and the Middle East, to those of you who journeyed here from Europe and Latin America and South America, welcome to HALT and welcome to San Francisco. It's worth remembering that here in San Francisco, almost 70 years ago, men who represented 50 countries gathered here to found the United Nations. It's a measure of human progress that today we welcome men and women from more than 100 countries. It's a measure of our progress that a student at HALT from Africa can study in San Francisco, rotate to Shanghai without interrupting her studies, conclude her studies in Dubai, working for a company based in London, and return back to San Francisco to celebrate her graduation. It is a measure of our progress that this completely extraordinary experience has actually already, for many in this graduating class, started to seem ordinary. That's what human progress is. Things that seem absolutely extraordinary one moment become fairly ordinary the next. Cell phones and women voting is completely ordinary, but it didn't used to be. This graduating class has the tools and the commitment to make many things that seem extraordinary today seem ordinary tomorrow. This is a group highly practiced at spotting opportunities, especially opportunities to improve the lives of the least fortunate among us. They have trained in business, but not in business as usual. It is not an accident that these students view business as an engine of human progress and social change. In many ways, it traces to a kid with a learning disability who dropped out of high school, did lousy jobs for a while, and ended up working at a bank where he did pretty well. Tired with banking, he actually talked his way back into a college, but discovered that he was dyslexic. He actually couldn't learn very well despite how hard he worked. He learned, but he wasn't a very good student, even though he worked hard. So he started a business at his dormitory teaching people English. The business took off, so he dropped out of college. And you know the rest. Bertel Hult built EF into a successful global business. Eventually, the Hult family decided to build not only language schools around the world, but the world's most global, most innovative, and fastest growing business school. Which is why your belief that business skills can help change the world comes at least in part from Bertel Hult's experience and conviction that it can. The Hult family is especially proud of 5 students from the San Francisco campus because they have another project called the Hult Prize. Students here know this, but the Hult Prize is the largest social entrepreneurship accelerator in the world. It's a huge contest that starts with regional competitions where teams present to a panel of distinguished judges a business idea that will improve life for the 1 to 2 billion people who live at the bottom of our economic pyramid. The judges pick one team from each region to compete in New York at the Clinton Global Initiative. Bill Clinton presents the winning team with $1 million from the Hult family to fund their vision. It's a huge contest and a very high impact one. Bill Clinton recently named the Hult Prize one of his favorite high impact partnerships. Now, as you can imagine, the competition is intense, especially in San Francisco. This year, 46 teams from Harvard, Chicago, Stanford, Berkeley, and MIT entered the competition. One of the highlights for the class of 2013 was the night that a team of your classmates won the Hult Regional Prize. Five students in this class have developed a potentially revolutionary mobile payment system designed to meet the needs of women in India and other developing countries. This team has poured their hearts and minds into this competition, and we are incredibly proud of them. This is a global team, not particularly unusual for Hult. Charles Oj from Nigeria, Carlos Tayan from Norway, Niketa Malhotra from India, Mandy Vidalis from South Africa, and Saul Minkoff from Canada. Would each of you please stand up? Please join me in congratulating these folks and in wishing them well in New York. Before I introduce our commencement speaker, let me briefly address the graduating class. Your impressive achievements are the result of both your hard work and of the support and love of many people who enabled you to be here today. As we celebrate your success, let me invite you to stand up, to take a moment now, to recognize and thank your family, your faculty, and your friends who helped you arrive at this special day. Thank you. You know, right about the time that many members of this graduating class were born, I was working as a consultant with McKinsey & Company here in San Francisco. One day, I went to visit a new client on Kearny Street, which is right downhill from where we're gathered today. My client was a guy named Art Gensler. Art and his partners specialized in designing corporate interiors, which was frankly kind of a dull business that nobody cared much about. Back then, real architects designed buildings. They left the interiors to the decorators and to the furniture vendors. Art had stepped in where there was not a lot of competition. He and his partners, including and especially his wife, Drew, had built a business with 4 offices, about 100 professionals, and for McKinsey, this was kind of a small and sleepy client. Within a few days, however, I realized that Art Gensler was not only a wonderful man and a brilliant designer, but that he was also a business genius. Art turned out to be what we would now call a disruptive innovator. He entered markets that his competitors did not want to build a firm that his competitors could not stop. I began working with him enthusiastically, and I've had the privilege of working with Art on and off for more than 20 years. Over these years, Gensler grew into a global business with deep expertise designing high-quality workplaces, green buildings, sustainable urban design. Gensler has designed the interiors and exteriors of thousands of buildings, including 1335 Sansom before it became Hult. They built the newest terminal at San Francisco Airport, and if you've been inside of a Gap or an early Apple store, you've seen Gensler's designs at work. They are now finishing what is perhaps the most revolutionary building in the world, the 123-story Shanghai Tower in Pudong, which is a monument to human innovation in its engineering, its environmental features, and its urban design. In the coming years, you will hear a lot about the Shanghai Tower designed by Gensler. Today, Gensler is still based in San Francisco, but it's no longer small. The firm has grown from 4 offices to offices in 44 cities around the world. Gensler now employs 3,700 professionals, including Hult graduates. They have grown from a firm that nobody ever heard of to the largest and most recognized design firm in the world. Today, Gensler is more than twice the size of its nearest competitor, and it is poised to become the first architectural design firm in history to earn more than $1 billion in annual revenue. In a city of amazing companies, Gensler is an astonishing story. It's a business built on a few lessons. Put your clients' interests ahead of your own. Attract and develop talented people. And most of all, take advantage of unexpected opportunities. We are incredibly fortunate to have with us today a man who can share with you the lessons from one of San Francisco's most extraordinary business journeys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege and great honor to present our 2013 HALT Commencement speaker. Please welcome Mr. Art Gensler.
I'm really honored today to be here with you at this commencement of the HALT International School of Business. I'm a little humbled because I just a bachelor degree in architecture from Cornell University and no academic training in business of any kind. Marty sort of taught me everything I know. So today I would like to to share with you on how I built my life and business career and how unanticipated opportunities have given me the chance to build a large architectural design firm and at the same time to have a wonderful life. Too often we try to plan out everything in our life to make sure that we've accomplished our goals. Well, I'm a case of, guess I must admit that I don't have that many goals, or didn't at the time when I started. I just wanted to make enough money to satisfy my family's needs and design a few great buildings. I didn't even know what a great building was, I have to admit. So I want to tell you about 6 unanticipated opportunities that changed my life and were completely unplanned. So don't panic if you don't have all your life planned out yet. The first one was I went to a New Year's Eve party in my freshman year of college at the home of a friend who went to Middlebury College. I took a date, didn't care much about her, but I went anyway. But at the party I met a young lady I found quite interesting. I kept sneaking away from my date and tried to get the name of the girl I found interesting, who also went to Middlebury. I was frankly unsuccessful. But the following year I went to the same party, a New Year's Eve party, with another date that I didn't care much about. And again I met a young lady that was pretty terrific. Once again I failed to get her name, but she sure looked and sounded interesting to me. When I got back to Cornell after the Christmas break, my roommate said he got a call from one of his friends who was attending Middlebury. The friend asked if he knew a guy who had a nickname of Goose. Now that was me. My nickname came from a Harlem Globetrotter named Goose Tatum, quite famous in my day, and I was a college basketball player, so that's, well, I got a nickname I have. The next weekend I drove 5 hours to meet this girl, Drew, who is now my wife and partner for 55 years. We ultimately married after she graduated from Middlebury. I finished my 5th year at architecture. Just before graduation, we had our 4th son. I can assure you I couldn't and wouldn't be standing here without that amazing partner. What an unanticipated opportunity. While a student at Cornell in upstate New York, I visited a visiting architect from San Francisco came to teach about design and also about the real life of the business of architecture. He wanted us to not go to classes, that you wouldn't understand that, I'm sure, just sit and listen to him and learn from him. Well, I skipped most of my classes, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I needed to go to our ROTC class. The architect's name was Henry Hill, and he suggested that I would really like San Francisco and I should move to California when I graduated. So when I graduated, I was immediately inducted into the Army as a second lieutenant, and I was lucky because that was the time when the Korean and right between Korean and Vietnam Wars, and they really didn't need me. So I only needed to be in the service for 6 months before I was released. And so I jumped on a military plane because it was free, and I got to California. I had 3 stops going across the country in different planes. I had no money. And I flew to San Francisco to see Henry Hill, this famous Henry Hill. Unfortunately, in December 1958, there were no jobs here in San Francisco or the Bay Area for architects. So after spending 3 days talking to lots of firms, I flew home to New York jobless. Back in New York, I went to 52 firms before I finally got a job offered for $100 a week, folks, $2.50 an hour. That was supposed to support my wife, me, and 1 child. The firm that hired me was the designers of the Empire State Building, a well-known firm, but I was hoping to do more contemporary architecture. So after my first year out of college and working for that firm, I quietly went to an architectural employment agency to see if I could get a more exciting job. The first few opportunities were not promising, but one day I got a call to come to the agency's office after work to interview for a job in the West Indies. I really didn't know where the West Indies was. I knew it was south of Florida, was about what I knew. I wasn't too interested because as an architect in the US, you need to have 3 years of apprenticeship, and I thought I needed to do that internship in the US. Well, I went to the interview anyway, and it was the strangest experience I've ever had. I hope you not have an interview like this. The interview was with a British architectural firm in Kingston, Jamaica, where the London-based firm had a branch office. The strange part of the interview was that all the people who were being interviewed were sitting in the same room with the interviewees, so you could sit there and listen to what the other interviewers were saying about they desperately wanted the job. They were just thrilled to go to the West Indies. But they were talking about the salary would be 2,100 pounds, and I didn't know what a pound was, $2.40 to $1, $1.80. I had no idea. It turned out it was $5,000 a year. Everyone else was being interviewed and begging for that job, and I was apathetic because I was worried about my requirement for apprenticeship for the architectural license. That was the only way I was going to get out of these low-paying opportunities. So after the interview, I took the subway home to my basement apartment. I emphasize basement apartment in Queens, Long Island. As I was explaining to Drew about our interview, the phone rang. The call was from the employment agency that said I had been selected. I was kind of shocked, but they needed an immediate answer. And so I asked if I could talk to the interviewer, but they said, no, he's already in a plane to London. So I told them I would give an answer the next day, and the next morning I called in sick. I guess it's the only time I've truly lied to an employer. So I went to the Jamaica consulate in the New York Public Library, and so I could get some information on Jamaica and what it would be like to live on what turned out to be $5,000. That day I accepted the offer with the proviso that I would go to Jamaica for 6 weeks, and if it didn't work out, they would fly me home. And if it did work out, they would fly my family, now 2 sons, down to Jamaica. This was a start of an amazing opportunity for me. In the British system, when you graduate from college, you're considered an architect. There's no 3-year apprenticeship required. So after 1 year of work out of college, I was given all sorts of opportunities that I would never have had I stayed in the United States. It also taught me that British do things differently from the way we do them in the US. Parenthetically, this has been a valuable lesson to me as we are now practicing in 90 countries from these 45 offices we have and are truly in a global business. Another unanticipated opportunity. After 2 amazing and instructive years of working in Jamaica, Jamaica as a country became independent. It had been a colony before from Britain. And interesting, they said, we're now a black country, you're white, so we expect you to leave. So I did experience reverse discrimination or whatever, but I went back to New York and went back to working to try to get my license and move my career along. The third untouched opportunity is when I was working for an architect in Levittown Public Library. I was studying madly for that preparation for that licensing exam. Luckily, my time in Jamaica counted towards my apprenticeship requirement. I'd been back in the States for about a year when a mechanical engineer at the library asked me if I was interested in running the office of a San Francisco architect who was going to establish an office in New York City to do, of all things, fallout shelter, bomb shelter schools. This was Nelson Rockefeller when he was governor of New York and his big idea. My ears picked up when I heard San Francisco, but I didn't pay much attention to the rest of it. The project was really nonsensical. Building schools where people from the local community would house themselves until the radiation from the nuclear bomb cooled. What a nonsensical thing. And finally, about 6 months after we started the project, the state legislature canceled it, and we had no other work. So I was asked to go and see if I could help reestablish the San Francisco office. The big circle of unanticipated opportunities, I got to San Francisco the hard way. So off my wife and now 3 boys went to San Francisco. As you can see by my journey, nothing planned, but always looking on a positive direction. After realizing that my boss was a lousy businessman, and he was, I moved on to work with another architectural firm. I realized the first man didn't know much about business when he told me that he was borrowing money from a bank to pay me and to the other staff because he didn't like to send bills to clients. Don't ever take that attitude. As I moved on got a chance with my new firm developing the standards for the BART system. For those who use BART, all the station designs and the standards for both above ground and below ground were things that I put together back in 1964 and 5. The first modern hardware, it was the first modern subway, and so they wanted to have something that was built not like the last one, been built in 1920. And so all of a sudden one day a college friend of mine called and said that he had been an architect when we went to college together, but he stepped out of architecture and became a developer, and he needed a firm to do tenant development for the new Alcoa building. You might know it as the one with the X bracing on the outside or One Maritime Plaza. Well, I said what development was, but that I'm sure I could learn it. And I was 30 years old at the time and looking for a new challenge. He said that there was only 2 firms in San Francisco that did tenant development. Both were committed to competing projects. I suggested I could start a firm, first learning what tenant development was, and second, getting my current boss to let me work in the mornings for him and on my own firm starting in the afternoon. At the time, Drew and I had $200 in the bank. We needed to keep cash flow coming, obviously, and gratefully, my current boss agreed to the arrangement and in that fact supported my plan. So tenant development means that I went with a real estate broker to meet with tenants, found out what the potential needed, and then drew up plans so that they could determine the space that they needed, and the broker could make a lease with the tenant and get a commission. Not too complicated, but I decided that I was going to, the going fee rate for this service was 5 cents for space plans and 25 cents for working drawings per square foot. So for reasons I still don't understand or remember, I decided to charge 7 cents and 35 cents. Well, they bought my number, and I was making a bigger margin than anybody else, but I said I was going to do a better job. So in January 1, 1966, with 1 draftsman, my wife as the office manager, accountant, and part-time secretary, we started and opened an office. To this day, she still complains that I didn't pay her. I think that's very unfair. But the The irony of all this is that I started by renting drafting boards in the back of the office of Henry Hill. What a small world. You'll find that you keep running into the same people wherever you go, and it's wonderful. My very visiting critic of Cornell, the person who engaged me and encouraged me to move to California. So, as I'm sure you can expect, the businessman, no business plan, no money, but a dream. Here I am 48 years later leading the largest design firm in the world, and ultimately we did this without borrowing any money or merging with other firms. Another unanticipated opportunity. The most asked question I receive is, did you ever think you would head a large global firm? And obviously the answer is, I can tell you, no. I just wanted to tell you that some of the ways I developed business, and so I plan to leap when the opportunity strikes, and that's what I've done for 48 years, and it's worked. First example I'd like to tell you about is La Jolla, California. There's a place called the La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club where I was visiting with my family, or vacationing with my family. We've been in business about 5 years. I was lying on the beach with my kids, and this guy comes up and kicks sand on me. Many of you probably don't remember or have heard about Charles Atlas, who was featured in the advertisements in all the comic books. He had sand kicked on him, so he decided to build his strength up and take on the world. Well, the guy didn't get me to say I wanted to build strength and take on the world, but he did say, well, in this case, I'm just trying to get your attention. Well, he certainly did. And he asked me if I was an architect, and I said yes. And when I said yes, he asked if I could borrow one of my employees. I asked him how that was going to work for me, since the way I make money is to sell the time of my employees, not have them borrow them. And he said, well, don't worry, I'll pay them and directly, and then you won't have to get into a second anything, do it. And I said, that doesn't work for me, but okay, because I did know his father and his brother. So after a little more discussion, I agreed to let him borrow one employee for 2 weeks to finish a store. So after 2 weeks, he called and he said, by the way, I now have trouble. I need a manager. I want to loan borrow one of your managers to get this project done. About 3 weeks later, he called and he says, I give up, you do the damn store. Well, it turns out that the person I was dealing with was Don Fisher, who found the gap. And we've done 3,000 stores and probably 6 million square feet of space. But the really even best part of it is that for 40 years I've sent him a bill every month, and the best part is they paid it every month. Not a bad trade-off for loaning a draftsman and a manager. The relationship started our firm on a journey in that retail world where we are now the #1 retail design firm in the world. And I just would never have gotten there if I hadn't kind of stepped out of bounds of the way one might normally go. The second opportunity was when I gave a speech in Monterey at the design conference. One of the other speakers was Steve Jobs. After we both talked, he asked me if I could come down to Cupertino to meet with him. Apple was just getting started. They had about 200 people, and would I help them with their space? When I met with him, I said that before we started, I wanted to ask him a question of why I wanted to buy a computer. This shows you how things have changed. I told him that when I went to the computer store and asked the salesman the question, they would always say, well, my wife could keep her recipes on it. I wrote this so my wife could read it, but I was going to say my wife really doesn't cook, so that's going to do me any good. But I said that she doesn't follow recipes, put it nicely. So he pulled out the floppy disk from his desk drawer and he put it in the Apple II, and he said to me, this is the killer app that will make computers essential for everybody. It was the VisiCalc program, the spreadsheet. And that's where it all started, with his belief, and certainly he was right. He then took me on a walk down the street to buy trail mix. And we came back to his office and sat on the grass between the curb and the sidewalk, eating trail mix and telling stories. He told me about his first LSD trip. I told him that was more information than I needed to start a relationship. I found out by reading Steve Jobs' book that he takes people on walks and that he's very proud of his LSD trip, so I got to experience both of the things he likes to do. Well, that experience started a 35-year relationship with our firm with Apple, which still goes on today. We did most of our office space until Steve got fired the first time. When he came back, we restarted. And when he returned, we started again with offices and the first 100 stores. I spent 6 months in a warehouse designing the first store with Steve. He turned out to be the smartest person that I've ever known. Not the easiest person to work with, but an amazing, amazing experience for me. The last opportunity was a time I was running late for a meeting in New York City, and I called my assistant to rearrange my flight schedule. She called back and said she couldn't make the flight. Couldn't I possibly make the flight because United wanted $1,000 to change my ticket. Being cheap, and I am, I said I heard of this new airline, JetBlue, and they had real cheap flights at $115. She agreed with me finally that after arguing with me, that I could fit in a coach seat. I'm a little big for coach seats, but finally I said, for $115 versus $1,000, I'll fly coach. And she made arrangements for me. But that difference in cost was really finally worth every bit of the change. As I was settling down in my seat just before the plane pushed back, a man came on the PA system and said he was David Neeleman, the founder and CEO of JetBlue, and he would be working with their flight attendants that day as passing out Cokes and Blue Chips. Those are the chips they serve on JetBlue. And that he hoped to talk to every passenger. I didn't think much about it. You usually can't hear the announcement very well anyway, as many of you know. And I became interested in the video screen in the front of me on the seat back, the first time I've ever seen that. That was a basketball game, and I started to watch it. But a couple hours into the flight, I looked up, and there he was, leaning over and talking to people in the window, the center seat, the aisle, and then he goes to the other side and walked to the window, center seat, in the aisle. I mean, he was really talking to everybody. Well, about an hour later, he reached my seat, told me my seat wasn't adjusted properly, that I should lay it back more, I guess, and then asked what I did. I said I was an architect, and then I said, we do airports. He replied that he was trying to do a new terminal at JFK and didn't like the architect the Port Authority of New York was suggesting. I quickly gave him my card. He gave me his, and 2 weeks later I received an RFP for a terminal project in JFK. 3 weeks later, we were selected as the architect for a $420 million terminal. We're still working on the second phase. Now, again, what an unanticipated opportunity. So the old adage is correct in my career. I would rather be lucky than smart. But the trick is, when opportunity arrives, you need to accept the opportunity and go for it. As you can see, I've had an amazing life. Many years later, I asked my boss in the British firm why he had selected me. He said that he'd heard of Cornell and not the other schools the candidates were from. So I realized how important Cornell was to my career, and I started to give back and support Cornell. And ultimately, we endowed a chair at Cornell for a visiting critic professional because they had dropped the program, and I felt it was, again, one of the key issues in my career development. Remember, you only go around once. Work hard, play hard, have fun, and give back. Your life will be enriched, and we'll have a lot more fun if you play that way. What more can you ask for? Remember, you can't change the past, so only look forward. Remember, you are what you think you are. If you have self-confidence, you're probably pretty good. If you don't, you need to work on your confidence. I just read this quote by Charles Schwab. I've gotten to know Chuck while working as a board member at this, and vice chairman of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. It's interesting to know that Chuck is dyslexic, and once asked him what books he's been reading. He told me he doesn't read books, and yet he's founded and leads one of the most important and successful financial companies in the world. Chuck wrote, "I've always thought that the best part about this country is that we get to create our own futures. We have the opportunity to make a life, not just live one. I've been around long enough to recognize the successful people who are out there owning it, the ones who take control of their careers, the ones who get involved with their families, their schools, and their communities. They're not sitting around as life unfolds. They're not afraid to question the paths they're on, because the one question they never want to ask is, how did I end up here? So realize that you have to find what you love and do it. And that's true for both your work and the other parts of your life. If you love your work, it won't be work. If you haven't found it yet, just keep looking. As a matter of the heart, if you haven't found it, just keep looking again, because you'll know it when you find it. So follow your heart and your intuition. The single biggest risk is not to take a risk. Smart risk-taking and unanticipated opportunities will give you a great chance for a positive life with unbelievable opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Stay here. Stay here, Art. So, thank you, Art. We're trying to figure out what you give Art Gensler after he's given a commencement speech. And I thought, I've been in Art's office a few times. They do call him Goose Gensler. His license plate says Goose, I know that. So Art, we've got a beautiful goose for you.
Fantastic. Yes.
In thanks for being our commencement speaker, we really appreciate it and all you've done for us. Thank you very much.
That was amazing. Thank you. What a year. We have 622 students in this beautiful Masonic auditorium to celebrate your accomplishments and to share one last glorious moment together. In less than 12 months, you have taken 1,360 classes of 174 courses taught by 56 professors across 4 different programs. It is tiring just thinking about it. So I hope you had a little chance since finals and final presentations to catch up on some sleep. I cannot resist the opportunity to share what drives me to wake up every morning and why I love my job as your dean at HULT San Francisco. And I believe that your HULT degree translates value for you and those lucky enough to hire you. So HULT is a perfect fit for me for a couple of reasons. Those two being entrepreneurship and teaching. I started my first business, maybe a little stretch, in Chinatown when I was in grammar school. I was probably in 2nd grade, and I sold confetti on New Year's Eve to revelers. I sold it in a little brown bag for 25 cents a bag. It cost me about 5 cents a bag for the bag and the confetti in it. That's pretty good gross margin. Not bad for a 2nd grader. So that was my own little business. But I would say that back then I liked business, and it's always driven me. I've always derived great pleasure in business, and that's certainly a part of what drives me. So business is a good fit, and I look at what we do at HULT. And HULT is run like a business in a good way. Businesses care for their customers. You are, in a sense, our customers. Our customers are our students and those employers that we work with to connect you with them. We run ourselves, or try to run ourselves efficiently and effectively. We listen to you. We make changes as we see fit, as you suggest. We're continuously improving, and we try to differentiate our school for ourselves and you. So we run the school like a business. Now, not many universities are run like businesses. Even business schools are not run like businesses. So I thought that was refreshing about HALT. I'm also one of those that enjoys school. I didn't even mind homework or tests or papers or presentations. Yes, I'm kind of a nerd. But it was sad when I graduated. But you never really stop learning and growing. So HALT is about helping students grow into amazing business professionals. And we're at scale now, so we could help deliver to you, to future students, and for you as you go on your journey in your careers, to stay in touch with you, because your journey and your learning should not end tonight. So HALT is about that. It's not only a commitment to you for those 12 months, and it's also a commitment to you as you move on, wherever you end up in your careers. So over the past few months, I have been honored to serve on a global curriculum committee led by Mukul Kumar, our Chief Academic Officer. The committee had outstanding faculty and, curiously, our global head of corporate relations. And so I was thinking, what is a corporate relations person doing on a curriculum committee? The answer, again, gives you insight into HALT and what we're trying to accomplish. What we found from our research in HALT Labs is that when we talk to the global leaders, there's something missing in all MBA programs, and they wished it wasn't so. And what was missing was that they want people that are day one ready professionals, so that you can get hired, hop in a cubicle, hop in an office or whatever, and become proficient. But over time, they are relying on you to be the next generation of managers and leaders, for you to lead the growth and perhaps become even their successors. And our design of the new curriculum is going to embody ways for us to deliver not only the toolkit and the needs that every one of you know you need, but also what we're now coming to define as the skills that differentiate you as you move on in your career. There are many breakthrough ideas of what will come from this curriculum, and we're still playing with some of those elements. But what I can share with you is there are 10 traits that we're working on, broken into hundreds of competencies, behaviors, and skills. And this isn't really my bailiwick. I'm more of an accounting and finance and strategy guy. But this is just like, how do we work as people, as professionals, to be effective people, and not only in your jobs, but in your life and in your communities. And so I want you to stay tuned. You're graduating today, but stay tuned, because you're going to watch our curriculum for two bases. As an alumni, you're able to come back for one elective class per year for the rest of your life. I hope you take advantage of that. We also know that sometimes that's difficult for you when you're working to, like, oh, I'm going to take off for 10 weeks and go to school. That's probably not feasible, or 6, I guess, during electives. So we're actually looking at ways that we could extend ways for us to help you continue to grow your careers after graduation. So our curriculum design is taking our teaching to a different level to bring those skills that we know you're going to need, and which will make you more promotable and ultimately be managers and leaders. And we're also finding ways to reach you in a more effective way. The other way this benefits you is as we roll out our innovations, as our curriculum then grows and improves, that we will then graduate more and more professionals and help to release them into the business world. And over time, your colleagues will be like you, ambitious, strong, and they'll be armed with what you'll also be learning, which is the skills as well as the professional skills to be different. And so my main message to you is you have to be proud to differentiate, or you have to be understanding the difference between these two phrases. The first is, I have an MBA or a master's from HALT. Compare that phrasing to, I have a HALT MBA, or I have a HALT master's. What does that difference mean? It means that the word HALT, when it modifies whether it's an MBA or a master's, means something unique, means something better, means something different. And so how do we describe that? I know many of you have talked to employers, and the first question before they even ask about you is, who is HALT, right? We all have that question. And we want to make it clear that why HALT is different and better, why you're going to be a more effective employee for that particular company. And one of them that's obvious, and maybe not as obvious since you've lived together in the midst of this, is that you have an ability to work effectively in multicultural, pressure-packed, diverse environments. We've had over 100 companies in one place with intensive schedules where you could not possibly do it all. From that comes learning that is both fun and productive times, and sometimes frustrating and puzzling times. But all the while, you're learning how to deal with all these different priorities, different types of people, with different backgrounds, different ways of thinking, different conceptions of time, and no other school offers that. And when you go into the work world, those skills, your ability to communicate, set expectations, maybe sometimes have tough talk with others, will serve you well. Every employer knows they need people that can move freely between different types of audiences, different types of groups. The second is you're learning a way of thinking, analytically, strategically, creatively, and not just the tools. Our professors have a lot to share, both in terms of the concepts and fundamentals that may be timeless, but they also understand how business works, and hopefully can tie those concepts into real world and relevance. And it's not just a tool du jour. And it's kind of ironic that, that Art made this reference because I'm about to use the same reference. I have used 8 different spreadsheet programs over the past 30 years. So learning VisiCalc, which was the category killer when I graduated from school in 1981, learning VisiCalc was nice, but it really wasn't what made it effective. What made it effective is how to think analytically and creatively and use a tool to actually get some answers. So the tool is nice, but it's not essential. I hope you learn that from your professors. They're teaching important underlying concepts. You're seeing some tools, but in the end, it's how you think and how you relate one field to another that will actually make the difference for you and your employers. The third is professional skills. Every MBA or master's student comes to learn the toolkit. That's just good enough to get your first job. So now you're sitting as an individual contributor in a company. You're well trained to do that, and that's fine. What they expect, that's what they get. But what we need to do is communicate to them that we have knowledge of self. We have knowledge of how to work in teams. We have an ability to persuade and communicate, and we have an ability to think creatively and critically in order to solve problems. Those types of skills, combined with that toolkit, makes you unstoppable, because those are the tools that eventually are prized when it comes to solving the real problems. So this year, approximately 100,000 students will graduate from MBA programs around the world, but only 1,861 will have HALT MBAs and HALT MIBs. So I want to congratulate you for earning your HALT MBAs, your HALT MIBs, your HALT MIMs, and your HALT MSCs. I have every confidence that you'll do yourself, your family, and all of us, and all the alumni that preceded you and will follow you, and reach toward greatness, because you're all capable. And have that confidence that Art talked about, because you have the ability and the drive. So go make it work. So next, it is my great pleasure to introduce our student commencement speaker, Jasper Harriman. Jasper, as you may have guessed just now, is an MBA student. But what you may not have guessed is Jasper was not only selected by his colleagues, but selected by the entire campus. All students had the right to vote for their commencement speaker today. He was selected, even though the MBA program is not the majority program. So there must be something about Jasper that led to such votes. And so I've discovered a few things about Jasper. The first is that he's at almost every HALT function. So he attends the parties and also the events. But not only does he attend, he doesn't just hang out with his MBA colleagues. He is just all over the place, meeting people, because he enjoys meeting different people, and it's genuine, and it's very evident when you first see Jasper. The other is that he's Dutch, and he has the Dutch trait of friendliness and openness, and he has kind of served that well. So the combination of his lineage and his personality and just his will to live and live life well has made him very, very easy to select as our speaker today. So Jasper, welcome.
Executive Director Marty Manley, Dean Larry Louis, members of faculty, members of staff, student services, families and friends of the graduates, and last but not least, dear fellow students from Hult International Business School, San Francisco, class of 2013. It is an absolute honor and privilege to be your graduate speaker. Thank you. And let me start with the most important thing I have to tell you. Congratulations, you made it. Take a look around. Take a look around and see your buddies dressed up in a funny blue dress and a strange hat. Look at them and look at yourself, because the next 10 minutes is going to be about you. It's going to be about the people you sent a Facebook message during class when you were pretending to pay attention. It's about the people who cursed the very existence of corporate finance, a 95% confidence interval, the HP 12C calculator, and discounted cash flows. But this is also about those in the room who lost people they loved, those who found new people to love, and those who did both. It's true. I'm going to tell you 3 stories about us to celebrate one special year at Hult. The first story is about a team of 5 Hult students that we graduates all know and was just introduced by Marty Manley, Pulse. As we all know, these guys took on President Bill Clinton's call to action to solve world hunger, and now they're one of the 6 teams to potentially win $1 million to implement their social business model. We are proud. But really, we're amongst ourselves. 2 MBAs and 3 MSEs working together 24/7 in an incubator, even, as I understand, renting a house together. I had to ask, how do you survive as a team? And they said, we use our diversity to be successful. Yeah. But okay, let me give you an example. One MBA took the task to calculate the social return on investment. And as you know, an MBA calculating social return. So the MSCs took over, and since then the entire operation runs like a well-oiled machine. Seriously, Pulse members, we are all proud of you. You show how a diverse team can be successful. So, on behalf of us, I wish you the best of luck in the grand final in New York. And just FYI, I don't want to see any more updates from you guys on Facebook unless it's you holding the $1 million check together with Mr. President Clinton. Who is my helper? To symbolize our experiences, a colored yarn will now start traveling through this room, starting at the MSCs. The goal is to catch it, hold the cord, and throw it to somebody else. Catching and holding on and throw it to somebody else. See, you're a graduate, you can do it. And hold on to it just a few more minutes. The second story is about our friends from MIM, Masters of International Marketing. And when I used to ask, hey, where are the MIMs? They often were off campus. In Napa Valley, for example, drinking wines. Because, hey, we need to make a marketing plan for local wineries. As I understand, MIM's Teamworks has had its ups and downs and was at times quite challenging. Some even told me it was a war zone. Nevertheless, this cohort turned the war zone into, and I quote, a second family. So, what's their secret? Together, they built their own headquarters in the infamous Tope Lounge, and it is there where they overcame cultural differences. And as in every war zone, the Germans rapidly took over Serbian territory, and French and Italian leaders tried their best to diffuse tensions on multiple occasions. The absolute high of this team bonding was a Secret Santa happy hour. So guys, despite fierce discussion and at first a broken team spirit, you guys created your own judgment-free zone. And for that, even though I was not there, you deserve a huge compliment for establishing that team spirit. The last story is about an MBA student. And in digital marketing, he was in a team with only MIBs. Ooh. Masters of International Business. He was afraid at first, but has to confess, if there was any team that went the extra mile to deliver an extraordinary non-profit business concept, it was with these MIBs. The parents of this MBA visited him just a few weeks ago. His parents were jet-lagged, were tired, and he came back from a class, a full-day class at Hult. And he told his parents, "Hey, look what I learned in team skill, leaderships, and change management." His dad looked at him and said, "Really?" But soon after, the dad understood that his son was in a very special place. His son worked with teammates from Russia, US, India, Spain, Venezuela, Nigeria, Brazil, Korea, China, Poland, not there yet, Canada, Taiwan, Portugal, Colombia, Latvia, Thailand, and Mexico. And on the side, he learned to imitate his accounting professor, who he admires. Answer the question, FIFO or LIFO. Let me tell you a secret, one of them is wrong. Guys, as you noticed, all three stories were about people who learned something far more valuable than any business course could have taught you. We overcame personal and cultural differences. And as you see from the colored rope that is traveling through this room, each story was about people who got connected. To close off this speech, I would like to address the question of tomorrow. What are we going to do with these unique experiences? This day is called Commencement. It is a start. It's not about what you did at Hult that makes this day. It's about what you're going to do from now on. And this summer, many other business schools have congratulated their 2013 graduate students. So why would we be any different? I'm going to tell you why. We are what social scientists call the millennials, the me generation, the Facebook generation. And I'm sure it's not what Professor Mike Grandinetti wanted to teach me, but there was a moment during global management class when I thought, oh, so when I demand that my boss gives me immediate attention when I want it, and a promotion once every year, it's just normal. I can say, hey, I'm a millennial, you know. Being liked, being linked, hashtag YOLO. Before Hult, I was not on Facebook. Ooh. But during this year, I got to know how important we all find our social status. Me included. Waking up in the morning, the first thing to do was to grab my $60,000 Hult Apple iPad and check the news. Oh! Oh, cool, my friend has cleared level 46 on Candy Crush. Friends, take a look around and see your buddies. See that they're all dressed up the same. We have the same gown and the same hat. We all look the same. For me, this is a subtle reminder that we are all the same. If our experience at Hult should teach us anything, it is this. Trying hard to be special is not special at all. It is when you dare to be yourself and when you dare to open up to others what will make you special. I'll borrow the words of David McCullough Jr. of Wellesley High School, just an ordinary teacher who told his students this: if you choose to climb a mountain, climb the mountain not to plant a flag, but to embrace the challenge. Climb it so you can see the world, not so that the world can see you. My dear friends, I know we're kind of afraid of what's next, finding a job, but feel no fear. You have learned the one thing that is probably most important, and probably you could have only learned it in an international atmosphere here. Each one of us in this room is from one of 98 countries present at our campus. So we know firsthand that being from somewhere or being someone is not what makes you special. It's not about me, me, me. It is about creating us. After your commencement today, go and find that challenge that gives you goosebumps, not because your LinkedIn profile looks cooler or because you'll get money likes. Climb that mountain and enjoy the journey. Climb that mountain so you can see the world. Climb that mountain to change the world. Let's do this. Together, we, the HULT San Francisco class of 2013. Thank you.
Jasper. Beautiful job. Thank you, Jasper. That was awesome. All right. So I would like to ask Associate Dean Mona Dillon, Associate Dean Jennifer Contreras, and Assistant Dean Tim Payne to please rise, if you would. I'd like all of us to show our appreciation of a year of creating, organizing, delivering outstanding academic programs, and with a round of applause. Next, I would like to ask our faculty to please rise, if they would. Our faculty this year, we had some rough moments, but at the end of the year, our campus was ranked second in all of HULT, and we did so with the continued dedication of a lot of professors who have been here for many years, and some new ones who joined us this year. So I'd like to, again, have a round of applause for the dedication and the support and the joy of teaching of our professors. As you know, every year we ask you to do some surveys, 1 or 2, or 3 or 4, or whatever. One of those surveys is very important to me, and it's one that gives me an opportunity to be proud of some professors. And one of the surveys you filled out was for the Professor of the Year. And so at this moment, I'd like to read and acknowledge the Professor of the Year for HULT San Francisco by program. So first, let's start with the MBA program. The Professor of the Year for the MBA program was Sunil Utpa. Go ahead.
Thank you, thank you. So I have a few things to say to you. First, congratulations. You deserve it. You worked hard. You worked in groups you didn't want to be in. You took 100 exams and passed through it. You deserve your graduate degree. Congratulations. Thank you. Second, thank you for being a great student in my class. It is amazing to me that students from over 50 nationalities laugh at my silly jokes. For me, that's the most important thing. I don't care what you write in your projects. No, I'm just kidding. Finally, since this is commencement, I have to give you a piece of advice. So I'll give you a piece of advice. You have to get your priorities right in life. And here's the sequence. Family, accounting, then everything else. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. We all learned something just then, I think. All right. Second, for the MIB program, the Professor of the Year is Olaf Graf. Unfortunately, he's not on the stage. He's in Austria today. But I'm sure I will be able to pass on, or perhaps not be able to pass on, all of the love and affection that all of you have for Olaf. But he'll be back. He lives in the area. He'll be back. So if you're in the area, please drop by, and Olaf will be on campus, I'm sure, during the early part of next year. For the MIM program, the Professor of the Year is Mike Grandinetti. Mike is in Boston and unfortunately could not join us for our commencement. And for our MSc program, the Professor of the Year is Mike Edwards, who, as you know, is in London and also cannot join us as well. So I'll give loves and kisses to all our Professors of the Year. So next, Marty, turn it back over to you.
So two things. I want to acknowledge the role of the HSA briefly, and we want to talk about the Peer Honor Awards. The Holt Student Association plays an important role at Holt, and it's not always a highly visible one. You know, your HSA reps pulled together a hugely successful event, such as Holt's Got Talent in February and the boat cruise in April. What you may not realize is that HSA reps actively listen to your ideas and spend a lot of time communicating your needs and making sure that each program's voice is heard in campus-wide forums and in campus decision-making. Although I arrived as ED in May, HSA and its president, Guy Larkin, played a very helpful role in advising and guiding some of my early decisions. So I want to personally thank all of you for electing this group of 18 students. I want to thank each SA rep for your enthusiasm and hard work as this year's ambassadors. I truly appreciate it and would like for HSA reps to stand and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you really very much. We're now going to give out 5 awards. 4 of these we're announcing here for the first time. Peer Honor Awards are voted on by students to recognize an outstanding classmate who consistently makes an exceptional effort to enhance the Holt community. Each program selects one student for its award. As I call your name, nobody's planning this, as I call your name, would you please come up to the stage? May I have the envelope, please? Oh, no envelopes. Okay, so this year's award. The MBA Peer Honor Award goes to Saleha Chaudhry. The MIB Peer Honor Award goes to Andre Boname. The MIM Peer Honor Award goes to Niboja Radovic. And the MSc Peer Honor Award goes to Teresa Hall. Finally, we're going to give, at the same time, a special President's Award to Emma Zelskans. Emma, come on up. Emma kept a blog called What Should We Call Holt? It's actually not suitable for parents, but it did make us laugh and think a lot, and we want to recognize her for a big contribution to the class of 2013. And you. Congratulations again to Emma for her blog and to all of our peer award winners. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Next, I'd like to just say a couple of words about our alumni. You are soon-to-be alumni of Hult. We have grown from 0 to 240 to 480 to 622 students graduated out of San Francisco. So we are looking to build an amazing Hult San Francisco chapter. And so I'd like all of you who are interested in joining us and growing this to let me know or let Christine Donahue know of your interest in building the Alumni Association because we now have critical mass and now we're going to do some damage. So please stay involved. If you're in town, let's plan some parties, some events, speaker, whatever you guys have as things would keep you guys together, keep you connect with Hult. We want to make that happen with you. So your first job as an alum is to get back involved with the school. So we look forward to that. Now, the long-awaited moment has arrived. It's time to recognize our graduates. So would Caroline Connor, Basha Starr, Maribeth Stephen Heine please join us to read the student names? And would Associate Dean Mona Dillon, Associate Dean Jennifer Contreras, Assistant Dean Tim Payne please join me for the distribution of diplomas? And we will begin with our MBAs. Would you please rise? And please proceed to the stage. After you receive your diploma, Career Services will present you with a gift on behalf of the school and as you join the thousands of graduates from Hult International Business School.
Valerie Aispuru. Sandy Kayata. Jahui Desmond Jetsi Kwa with distinction. Anahit Etamadi. Dugu Gun. Franco. Amir Fakim. Gaylord Foro. Jean-Louis Cadart. Rakib Khan. Anton Elias. Royan Gu. Arman Kwanishbekov. Sohail Buzari. Attila Danku. David Garcia Gutierrez. Antonio Bustamante. Jeremy Idias. Naveen Kadavella. Murali Chittipurala. Mikhail Ivanov. Jan Enrico Hoffman. Aaron Huetman. Jun Gong. Jingming Cui. Tengiz Bat Arden. Alvin Hadrian with distinction. Anastasia Anshikova. Borja Gutierrez Ferrandiz. Nurhat Ibadildin. Winand Gusen. Charles Dean. Elvis Howard. Travis Boileau. Hannah Aldine. Aidan Lee Cole with distinction. Jordan Cole. Yannick Doyon with distinction. Rio Aramaki. Takaya Inagaki. Solveig Gunnarsdottir. Aurelia Cizeron. Lisa Cabrera. Saleha Chowdhury. Leonora Eleno de Paramo. Robert Bailey. Ashim Raj Chopra with distinction. Monique Bew. Maria Denise Duarte Noguera with distinction. Ana Cristina Garcia Ibarra with distinction. Ana Carmela Di Marin. Morteza Dalir. Anna Kujashova. Gaurav Khatri. Leslie Downey. Michael Hernandez. Joseph Cohen with distinction. Vieira Boisa. Enrique Garabay. Niharika Bartwal. Christopher Chia. Paul Andrew Gorgonio. Sergio Figueres. Clemens Andre. Raivis Campanus. Sonia Agnesod. Tungalag Dashtersaran. Monzer Medhat Mohammed Kafagi. Guy Bochat. Olatakumbo Abiodun. Chika Anyaka. Suman Kuketri. Carolina Hahulska. Camila Garcia. Anya Kolmanovic. Alexander Ratanovsky. Carlos Arsueño Seminario. Luca Di Coco. Wild Jarudi. Mutlu Brutuner. Gustavo Adolfo Grande Rojas. Emma Zeltkans with distinction. Motaz Abramele. Carlos Roberto Alvarez Ochoa. Ander Dobo with distinction. Oluwatoyin Ladipo. Santosh Kumar Natva. Sivaram Udayasurian. Samiksha Patra. Kunjal Vikmani. Pragya Samantri. Daniel Pineda. Shireen Nahas. Edmar Rosa. Thomas Speckman. Claudio Lebre. Lucas Tavara. Ashley Neeland. Neha Sharma. Donghyun Sao. Sangwon Lim. Bing Shui. Wusab Sa. Liang Wu. Usman Wahid. Renato Marki. Sufyan Kutyashat. Venugopal Raghavan. Mudrika Tawar. Antonio Mijares. Stephen South. Hector Eduardo Lino Ortiz Hurtado. Eduardo Pajes Castillo. Jorge Vargas. Eduardo Velasco. Anthony Trejo Jr. Vaibhav Srivastava. Sala Samanayatita. Mohammed Temraz with distinction. Hector Pena. Christopher Us. Carolina Harumi Sugai. Ana Maria Rodriguez with distinction. Kei Nakahara. Chunyan Yang. Olga Strick. Matteo Misagia. Anuj Prakash. Ken Ling Tan. Roman Osipenko. Derek Nerona. Eleonora Ricciardi. Philip Leith. Rishi Sharma. Ramesh Parsani. Daniel Lane. Malindir Kambule. Sebastian Vanos. Chanwa Lina Lee. Maximilian Meyleur with distinction. Anastasia Turina. Daria Slutskaya. Susie O'Connor. Karthik Ramu. Ryota Shimamoto. Daria Matyushenko. Nat Lin Nguyen. Kenneth Leo with distinction. Vishal Thakur. Guy Larkin with distinction. Stephen Freund. Adamandia Vidalis. Christina Nicole Regis. Mark Adrian Regis. Vlatko Leszek. Tyler Wozni with distinction. Rocco Sanelli. Saul Minkoff. Dennis Raif. Michael Ostergaard with distinction. Ho Nguyen. Jerica Naito. Ann G. Ann Lee. Tao Nguyen. Tutram Nguyen. Jessica Lohman. Mario Soria with distinction. Guillermo Montoto. Andre Queiroz. Mami Miyaki. Tatsuhiko Ori. Olga Salazar Sanchez. Angela Martin Mendez. Jose Antonio Mayen. Vanessa Romero Brito. Alyssa Vistorf. Juliana Maciel. Olga Stepanova. Danielle Shah Mansourian. Sherman Lewis. Filipa Spasova. Ilonka van Spanjar. Robin Luo. Tam Suttles. Rahul Susarla. Tushar Janikiram Raju. Saran Sai Manavanan. Ambuj Sharma. Rakesh V. Thampi. Samira Safai. Michelle Lee. Jasper Herman with distinction. Ajay Singhvi.
Now the Masters of International Business class will receive your diplomas. Please join us on stage.
Georgi Efremov, Eduardo Carfagna, Peng Feng, Su Chen, Siyu Du, Himanshu Ketan, Nataya Disayasakta, Welly Chandra, Narishna Krishnan, Mohammed Sufyan Kanya, Benud Kazamzadeh, Thabit Al-Taher, Eli Chalita with distinction, Ziyi Huang, Suzanne Corneliuson, John Gustafsson, Basant Kumar, Piali Anandurai, Chanhu Chu, Mosin Kader, Nino Alejandro Francisco Evangelista Chung, Kurt Bell, Danielle Ishfaq Gill with distinction, Nina Janika, Mariam Abtahi, Marjan Abtahi, Ravi Birman, Chanju Su, Hangyu Kyo, Verena Charoen Banpachon, Kevin Su, Frederick Cowles, Bruna Franco Polena, Godavari Ghosh, Moritz Herda, Oda Bra with distinction, Tor Karsten Helgeland with distinction, Bodiwe Ebikefe, Ajith Kumar, Matthews Tomas Koselski, Francisco Cabaco, Korai Artikin, Omar Alexandros Ali, Philip Guschich with distinction, Mohammed Al-Kuder, Esther Friesen, Simon Bildhausen with distinction, Javier Aguilera with distinction, Thomas Fluin, Alvaro Alcala Galeano, Anis Butaleb, Giovanni Carreri, Luigi Congedo, Roland Delrue, Danny Kandarian, Arina Derevyanko, Mariam Yetunde Babalola, Mattia Franco with distinction, Andres Bonami, Maria Dimitrova. Yudore Natwari. Arti Gopala Krishnan. Sibaraj Juganaksekran. That's wrong. Komal Hora. Anindita Ghosh. Silver Braganka. Shaheen Delami. Syed Mohammad Reza Behenejad. Michael Henin. Sin Yong Kang. Rahul Shivastava. Jay Prakash Kukreja. Rushil Dedhia. Anton Kravchenko. Yahya Badawi with distinction. Urvashi Gupta. Violeta Kostova. Ying Chen. Sai Sharanya Shava. Arjun Iyer. Salvador Casillas. Emmanuel Kittle. Murat Giuseppikov. Nikos Chrysostomou with distinction. Irene Economides. Ricardo Bobadilla. Amanda Chadwick. Jennifer Noblock with distinction. Brittany Hale. Vinay Jain. Raed Bektash. Milad Ahmadi. Yi Shao Chen. Menghe Chen. Shi Dong. Wenji Huang. Jing Jin. Leftherios Katsaunis. Adaiz Ihenakor. Lola Lisa King. Pratap Reddy Ayamani. Stepan Gershuni. Sagar Aravadkar. Diraj Korwani. Andrea Michelle Espinosa de los Monteros. Hector Gomar Nadal. Cristina Biagioni. Asel Koijeldieva. Chiminem Mami Cyril Iziwu. Sivaprakash Jagannathan. Li Xing Huang. Erlène Chabi. Anthony Amponsa. Chris Ephraim Miendoro Bailon. Syed Jawad. Maria Borisova. Alexandra Danahi. Perlin Boudou. Asilgul Ismanova. Kamila Akhmedova. Francisco José Irivari Oliveri. Madhu Bharadwaj. Margarita Batayeva. Rostislav Yakovlev. Sebastian Gomez. Daniel Casanovas. Rodrigo Sebastián Díaz. Jean-Emmanuel Bidias Amouté. Bolartuya Gantumur. Chambui Jugda.
Pooja Sharma. Padmini Rao. Ravi Vaswani. Vishwajit Mane. Marcus Lee with distinction. John Paravantis. Kustram Shuti. Dhruva Rampelli. Maithili Savant. Alok Tawar. Kalpesh Vijay Vagia. Kunal Mathur. Alexander Lebedev. Joe Edwin Suryo. Vicky Tran Shi. Andre Martino. Tegar Pambudi. Femi Onadele. Avanish Yadav. Nanyo. Mevira Munindra. Joseph D. Ryan with distinction. Andre Otto Wijaya. Karen McCulloch. Janavan Solaiman. Stephanie Leonard. Tony Tang. Justin Tsao. Brandon Long. Helen Lin. Dolly Patel. Meng Wang. Jia Yang. Yuan Tang. Jia Le Wang. Hanlin Yu. Lei Zhou. Nan Song. Yo Jun Li. Arvind Thinagarajan. Ocean Tramvu with distinction. Kartik Pisupati. Kartik Suresh. Prabha Sivaram. Ana Paula Pereira. Chong Wang. Yanjun Ma. Xia Xia. Han Yan. Janet Oyeleye. Oyen Kansela Oni. Fabian Quent. Niels Linhart. Konstantinos Pogiadis. Antonio Mendes. Lida Maria Latko with distinction. Samuel Nora. Nicholas Venetis. George Stavropoulos. Kostas Papalinas. Lu Tinan Tra. Omar Antonio Padierna Sosa. Brian Ross with distinction. Cedric Proto Dubois. AJ Shevki. Veronica Matvienko. Anastasia Lebenkova. Huyen Le. Azizbek Mukhamadov. Hanglong Yang. Clotilda Prozzo. Constanza Montresor. Luca Papaleo. Tiago Santos with distinction. Laura Stambolova. Ana Clara Porto de Salas Abreu. Anastasia Westphal. Mamadou Thiam. Thomas Renaud. Akim Sani. Vitaly Volodkovich. Jiwoo Park. Chunlan Shen. Pinshuan Liao. Henriette Vienne. Jada Patemba. Anna Lucy Pral with distinction. Anna Svedberg with distinction. Christine Intal Rowan. Naveen Narayan with distinction. Gobi Vivekananda. Yuanpeng Tang. Yan Zhang. Chang Yao. Wei Chuan. Han Zhou. Qin Li. Dennis Verstappen with distinction. Nitin Mula. Natalie Marakin. Lara Severino. Silvia Andrea Suarez Zambrano. Martin Prochaska with distinction. Ram Narayanan. Krista Van Limput with distinction. Joao Philippe George. Anna Rivera. Felix Albus. Susana Nunes. Tinacha Ratchatasap. Disaniti Towawat. Maggie Lau. Raimondo Rene. Yuansheng Zhang. Changzi Wu. 进行中。Rapipan Viriakochai. Gabriela Salme Arevalo. Mariano Sulash. Juan Pereira. Alan Shimchik with distinction. Allard Harman van der Molen. Maximilian Ulmer. Jan Verwijs with distinction. Hanqing Xu, Mike. Waiting Yu. Dorant Sami. Shi Chen. Britt Rowe. Frederick Alexander Melgard. Junyan Qin. Ziyan Zhao. Shiyu Liu. Siti Nur Aini Mohammed Azmi. Garav Puri. Enrique Moran. Larry Paxton. Bettina Varga with distinction. Anastasia Nikolaeva. Tatiana Paspilova. Alexis Uribe. Garagi Turtsumia. Marzia Marziali. Majid Mahmoud. Bharat Mataparti. Yazaman Marzban. Ashkan Parsafar. Nico Junjiang. Mingyue Lin. Himani Shah. Ji Zhang. Xingyu Yao.
Now the Master of International Marketing class will receive their diplomas. Please join us on the stage.
Ing Lee. Yo Yu. Xiaoyun Shen. Shengwei Xiang. Johanna Ruiz. Wei Zhang. Shi Li. Uliang Zhang. Likita Nidadevolo. Xuan Chu Chen. Wei Lin Wang. Yichen Sun. Gunawan Bangsa Wijaya. Viviana Bustia Aruka. Alyssa Sandor. Emily Vey. Alexander de Hassett with distinction. Ekaterina Nadash. Edward Farai with distinction. Lorena Morales. Tiara Teresa Christian. Malaz El Sheikh. Sasha Wright. Margot Eve Olympe Dobry. Felipe Rasha. Zara Helene Boshik. Carissa Gonzalez Robles. Evgenia Kovalenko. Nancy Vanessa Fernandez Zambrano. Elena Palais Gaviria. Simon Durda. Charlotte Passamard. Annalena Rohring with distinction. Carolina Alberque. Bernardo Abreu. Christos Katsaunis. Rafael Silveira. Marlene Selheimer. Marina Vijgal with distinction. Irene Fernandez Caraval. Nina Levchuk. Shiyuan Dong. Fanhui Zhao. Yan Chen Wu. Nina Chan. Mernaz Zwi. Bahar Aslami. Johanna Ju. Paolo Cabrini. Fabian Katerina Hamburg with distinction. Miljana Vujosevitz. Rudolf Baumeister with distinction. Maurits Versteeg with distinction. Mohammed Al-Ahmad. Mayank Joshi. Eunice Williams. Natalia Price. Oops. Miriam Giragadze. Rebecca Mulligan Santos with distinction. Marina Zina. Veronica Calvi Muzzini. Paulo Miguel Simon Villaworal. Pakawat Wangsanuat. Filippo De Cotto. Eliza Doughton with distinction. Michele Secondo. Oscar Guillermo Cueros Janes. Nana Dufour. Daria Polobotku. Anton Kartuzov. Fabiola Cardoso. Maria Carmela Domingo Geronimo. Jimena Avila. Mabusha Radovich, with distinction. Fabian Victor, with distinction. Julio Cesar Estaque Vasquez. Roberto Suarez Scholl. Jose David Altuve Casal. Lorenzo Betancourt. Jose Luis Camborda, with distinction.
Now, the Master of Social Entrepreneurship class will receive the diplomas. Please join us on the stage.
Susan Martinez. Anusha Venkataranman. Jankal Rosenwald Wolf. Mariana Gerard Sampson, with distinction. Mohammed Abdul. Luis Enrique Pardo. Babangida Batharawa. Ruben Pisa Reina. Osazuwa Osai. Inyang Huang. Wendy Trianugreati. Maria Spiridonova. Jacqueline Pickney. Paul Williams. Deepak Bansal. Xuan Zhang. Ryushuin Hu. F.A. Lin. Sovalina Finn. Joey Zhou. Yuhua Jiang. Julia Mora. Paloma Gonzalez. Beatriz Varela Martinez Barbieto. Christine Hermoso Cruz. Juanita Osa Villegas. Claudia Alexandra Vargas Prieto. June Liu. Hadas Degan. Dinara Jackson Beck. Yoslin Gonzalez. Lena Shalabi. Andrea Figuereas. Daniel Cates. Ting Yi. Manikandan Savinsankar. Maria Auxiliadora Bilecres, with distinction. Teresa Hall, with distinction. Jerry Wagner. Marcela Aristisala. Muhammad Yuda Saleh. Danielle Grant. Carl Oscar Berdal Tienan with distinction. Sanyanth Naroth. Samuel James Benoit. Sean Rorang. Simona Maria Iononi. Vabhab Brajesh. Javier Sierra. Naketha Malhotra.
Hello? Oh, good. Okay, we're back. With the authority vested in me by the Board of Directors of the Halt International Business School and the State of California, I hereby confer upon this class the degrees of Masters of Business Administration, Master of International Business, Master of International Marketing, and Master of Social Entrepreneurship, and welcome them to the Society of those who practice these learned arts and industry. You are hereby declared as graduates from the Halt International Business Schools. You may toss your caps.
Thank you very much. We had planned for a processional. I don't think that's going to happen. So I want to congratulate everybody. We're going to show the video, and there is a reception in the lobby. I also want to thank some of the people that were involved in this. So as folks exit, I will roll a few credits. I will invite our faculty to stand and leave at your convenience. I will invite our graduates to file out in an orderly manner. And while I do that, I'd like to thank some of the people involved in this. Adam Carsons and Aileen Smith, Andreas Long and Ashley Burton. I want to thank in particular Christine Donahue and Emily Townley, who produced this effort with huge success. Bev McLean and Basha Starr, Carolyn Connor, Jihan Gersoy, Courtney Jackson, David Louie, Drew Kinky, Eva Hugh, Fred Furman, Gazella Hashemi, Heidi Church, Watron, Hildur, with a name we don't pronounce, Iselin Patterson, Jake Craney, James Timmis, James Van, Jennifer Contreras, Jessica Michael, Carl Whalen, Catherine Cracky, Catherine Boschkoff, Kelly Bonin, Kelton Bridges, Linda Miles, Marjan Mosain and Marjorie Singer, Mark Yamamoto, Mary Beth Marcelino, Mona Dillon, Rachel Recaro, Rashmi, Moran, Rebecca Joyce, Rita Liu, Sarah Picard, who's not here, Scott Niedermeyer, Shauna Ruth, Steve Haney, Tim Payne, all thank you very much. I will declare this graduation adjourned, and thank you all for your help.